Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video.
So yeah, I got arrested twice.
What did that just mean?
I've been held against my will for 45 days.
Bruh.
Do not get arrested in Japan, because it's not what you think it is. This was a legal modern day torture facility.
What?
They stripped me down naked and had me do squats to make sure that nothing fell out of my vagina.
Out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming.
I'ma need therapy.
How y'all doing?
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. I have been going for quite some time, and I know all y'all have been wondering, where have I been? Just to give you a hint, it's so fitting for the last Moo Global drop. My whole family has a bet going on since elementary school. We all were just joking. Which kid would be the first to get arrested? Everyone was like, obviously Kristen, duh. My bigger sister, she got some anger issues. I'm like the peaceful child. I'm like coloring, drawing, creating. I'm super nice. I don't do any drugs. I don't even cuss. There's just no way that Sunday would ever be arrested. And yet here we are. I know a lot of y'all have been so worried about me, and thank you so much. Like, when I say we have family over here, I'm not even playing. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We are a family over here. When I went ghost on the internet, y'all hit up my sister, my mom, every friend that I have, and I'm like, dang, I love y'all. I love y'all so much. But yeah, it was very personal, and it was a lot going on, and obviously they didn't know what they could say, what they couldn't say, so I was just like, be quiet. Also, if my voice is like gone, that's because I am so sick right now. But I'm trying to just get through this story time so I can get my life like back on track, because this has been huge and it's a mess. I was arrested in Japan twice. Actually, it was arrested twice and detained 3 times. I was kept for 45 days. Yeah, so we got a lot to cover. Yo, I had to come all the way back to California to like recuperate. I need my hair done, my nails done, I need to go to the doctor, I need to stock up on medication. It was a lot. So I'm back home for a short time recuperating, and I'm trying to make this video so I can just, as soon as I get back home, go back to my normal life. I have a feeling this video is gonna be way too long, so it's probably gonna be a 2-part series. Get your popcorn, get your snacks, because this is gonna be a real long one. As a matter of fact, I had to get myself a little glass of wine just to even be able to turn the camera on, because this is fresh, and it's only even been a week, because as soon as I got home, I've been sick this whole time, y'all. It's been it's been a lot. It's kind of hot. I'm taking this off. Anyways, in this video, I'm gonna be talking about what happens when you get arrested and they send you to this detention center, and what exactly this detention center is, what to expect, what is going on in here. And then in part 2, I think I'm just gonna get into like a whole bunch of stories and stuff that I experienced during this entire process and try and wrap up everything that happened. This is actually very traumatizing and very personal, but I did want to make a video about this because, number one, my channel is very transparent, and I feel like I have kind of a unique situation going on over here. Like, I don't just showcase traveling and cooking and all that stuff. My channel is like a lot about my personal life, and it's very transparent around here. Like, I don't think I could pretend like everything's okay even if I wanted to. That's just, it's not in me. I don't have that feature. So yeah, I'm going through a lot right now, and I just went through a lot. Also, I want to help as many people as I possibly can. That's the main reason I started this channel, and this is something really crazy that can happen to literally anyone for any reason, and nobody even knows about it. Like, even me, I heard a tiny bit about this, but y'all, I met so many people and got so many stories. This is insane, and I can't even believe it is legal. I pray that none of you ever gets arrested in Japan, because it's not what you think it is. This was a legal modern day torture facility. I wanted to drop kick one of the security guards by the kneecaps just so I can go to jail, because jail would have been so much better than this place. I don't even know how a facility like this is allowed to operate. This has got to be the most unjust, corrupt, insane, I don't even know what to call it. Nobody's talking about this. All the people that do end up there, they're definitely not speaking up about this. They're not talking about this. It's straight trauma. If I didn't have a YouTube channel, y'all, the zip would have been zipped, because what did I just go through? I think I'm still in shock, which is probably the only way I'm gonna be able to get this video out, because as soon as everything like sinks and settles in, I'm gonna need therapy. Do not get arrested in Japan. Let's just start off with this detention center. I'm gonna put timestamps up somewhere so you guys can like jump around because I know it's a lot to cover and it's hot. Taking this off. Come on, titties, work with me. I think I have to say this. Disclaimer, this is not professional legal advice. Please consult whoever's the professional, not no YouTuber, yada yada, you know the drill. This is all alleged. This is all my story. Yeah, the fam know what it is. I'm gonna leave a lot of details out just for like legal reasons, so I'm not gonna be naming any entities or anything like that. Please don't contact nobody, don't try and write nobody, because honestly, if I told y'all what really like the nitty gritty, y'all would be rioting in the streets like my family's trying to do right now, because it's some total nonsense and it's actually insane. But yeah, I'm gonna leave out the names of these devils. I don't want to drop out, I'm tired. So yeah, 8 a.m. I was arrested. They came to my house. I shouldn't have even been arrested because I've been talking to these folks for I don't know how long. Oh, a kitty. Oh, there's a cat outside. Anyways, came to my house. I was dead sleep, got pajamas on. They're like, yeah, you're getting arrested. And I'm just like, is this serious? At this point, to be honest, I was so over it that I was just like, yeah, let's get this over with. Let me get this lawyer so I can get y'all off my back, because this is actually absolutely insane. Like, it didn't even make no sense at this point. And in Japan, if you get arrested, it's like you just vanish off of the map. They don't tell anyone where you are. You can't call your family. You can't do anything. You're just like sucked out of reality. One of my friends, the one that runs the Kawakuji Animal Rescue, shout out to Bae. But yeah, she was like, anytime one of our employees goes missing and their family like wants to put out a missing persons report, we always suggest that they check out the police department first, because chances are they were probably just arrested and they hold you there for a very long time and you don't get to contact anyone and you're just missing abroad. So yeah, 8 a.m. they came to my house to arrest me. So I'm in my pajamas. I just woke up. I'm pretty sure it might be the same in America. They just arrest you like however you are. Y'all, I heard some crazy stories from some other folks in there, but I wasn't having it, okay? I was like, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm putting on some pants, and I'm feeding my cat. You got me messed up. Really trying to hurry me up and just like put me in handcuffs and take me in the house. I was like, no, absolutely not. I'm feeding my cat. And I really put my foot down because I don't have a spine. I'm a pushover, I really am. But I put my foot down. I was like, no. Duchess is getting her food. She's getting her wet food. I'm filling up her dry food. I'm putting up a bunch of bowls of water, and I'm just doing all this like at my pace. And they're like really rushing me and tapping pins. And it's like SWAT team in there, right? And I'm like, I don't even care. I even brushed my teeth, y'all. That's how over it I was. I was like, I really don't. What are you gonna do, arrest me? The police actually told me that I was gonna need money, and they took some money out of my wallet. So I was like, all right, let's just bring it. That was the only thing that they allowed me to bring with me. I could not bring chapstick, nothing. I was barely allowed to wear a bra, which later I quickly realized was absolutely unnecessary because I couldn't keep it in there. So anyways, get to the, I think like a police department or something. They did the fingerprints, the dang photo, and I'm like, wow, I'm really a thug now. I should drop an album. It took quite some time. I didn't get any breakfast, obviously, because they woke me up fresh out of my bed. After we were all done, they ended up giving me lunch, which was kombini sandwiches. I'm not trying to sound like super picky, but like anybody who knows me knows I really don't like sandwiches. I don't know why, I just don't like them. So he put the sandwiches down, and that's when I was just getting so teary-eyed. I had to hold back because I knew they were the enemy and they're not about to see me cry. I've been in a situation like this before where I'm just abducted out of my home and forced to eat food that I really don't want to eat. I'm not gonna get into that because that's too personal. But yeah, I was like, ooh, it's bringing back memories, trauma, here we go, all over again. So I really couldn't eat them sandwiches. I think I took like 2 bites of the egg salad sandwich because I was like, yeah, girl, you don't know when you're gonna eat again. You might want to eat this. The egg salad sandwiches really do be hitting, but I just was not in the mood for that, and I really don't like sandwiches. Little did I know, I definitely should have eaten that sandwich. If only I knew how much worse it was gonna get. So after that, I was shipped off to the detention center. Now, this is what I want to cover. What is a Japanese detention center exactly? If you're arrested in Japan, you can be held at this detention facility for up to 22 days. This is the corrupt part. This is before they've even determined whether you are innocent or guilty. This is before anyone's looked at any of your information. They're just holding you here. So let's imagine that you jaywalked and a police officer saw you, but actually another police officer is the one who told you that you could because the light was broken at the time, but he walked off, and so you got arrested. You're gonna be held there. It doesn't matter what you did or didn't do, they can hold you there for days before anyone even looks at what happened. And that is the number 1 corrupt part. The number 2 corrupt part is just the level that it is. When you hear the word detention center, you think something very mild, something below jail, right? Absolutely not. This was a modern day torture facility. This place is designed to exhaust you, stress you out, and just put you in the worst state physically and mentally as they possibly can legally to get you to admit to being guilty. So the whole purpose of this place is to just exhaust you and stress you out beyond what should be legal to get you to confess to your crime. So it's basically like a little torture facility. I know. And again, this is before they've even determined whether you're guilty or innocent. Their goal is to make you say that you're guilty. This is a lot to take in, and it is a lot of information, but I do think it's extremely important, and this can happen to literally anybody, for something as small as having NyQuil or Benadryl in your suitcase to walking out of the store accidentally with something in your hand. Like, it can happen to anyone, and I do think it's very important that everyone knows the system in Japan. So I was able to put together a blog on my website, sundaicity.com, with all kinds of information about this situation, things to look out for. I even have some Japanese phrases that you might need to use if you ever do get into this situation. I was able to create this blog thanks to our sponsor, Squarespace. If you didn't know, Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that allows you to create so many different things. You can make a website like I did, where you can write blogs, you can have a podcast or an online store. The possibilities are endless. They have tons of useful features like Squarespace AI that can help you write, which is very useful and saves me so much time. Tons of beautiful customizable templates, and I really enjoy all their design tools. It just makes creating things so much more fun. If you're interested, go to squarespace.com and you can sign up for a free trial, see if you like it. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Sundaiklove and you can save 10% off of your first purchase of a website or domain. And thank you again, Squarespace, for sponsoring today's video. So in the real world, it's like detention, jail, prison, maximum security prison, and then segregation of like maximum security prison. This is like when you get in trouble for fighting or something and they put you in that tiny room with no windows or nothing. That's all the way at the top. That's what this detention center is. It is segregation of prison. And again, this is before they've even determined whether you've done anything or not. You're being held at a place like this. I don't even have words, to be honest. It's just insane. Let's go into the check-in process. So when I arrived at the detention center, the first thing you have to do is check in. They immediately stripped off all of my clothes. Get naked! I don't know if it's the innocence in me, but every time I took off an article of clothing, I was just really confused because I was like, oh, you want the next one? What is happening? So like I took off my jacket and she's like, your shirt. I was like, oh. Take off my shirt and she's like, your bra. And I'm like, oh. Until I was just fully naked.
Take your panties off.
She was also stripping down all of my clothes at the same time, like turning the pockets inside out. She even took out the soles, the laces, like she stripped my shoes down to the Shein factory setting. They ask you a lot of questions about your health. They take your blood pressure, weight, height, and then you also have to go over all of the rules for the facility. The rule book was like this. She just had me sitting there while she's going through the rules and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not gonna remember all this. Can I just write something down? I'm just trying to like retain as much information as I possibly could that was actually important, like the daily schedule. I think I saw on there, wake up at 6, and I was like, oh, I'm in for it. Like, it's just get ready Sunday, because this is not a joke. Keep in mind, everything is in Japanese, which wasn't a huge issue for me, but I heard a lot of horror stories about people getting arrested like fresh off of the plane or just visiting Japan for the first time, and obviously they can't speak a lot of Japanese, so they're thrown into these detention facilities with nothing but Japanese, and they can't communicate, they don't know what's going on. I could see that being extremely frightening.
You don't want to know what they'll do to me in jail.
But you're not in jail, you're in holding. And I don't think people usually get in holding.
Luckily for me, I know enough, so this actually wasn't a huge problem for me. There was a lot of stuff that I couldn't say. I could understand pretty much everything, but there were so many things that I wasn't able to express. I only asked 2 questions.
Hold on. Granddad, do people get in holding?
One of them I saw on the list, the schedule, that it said exercise at 7 a.m. and I was like, oh, what's that about? Because no. And she's like, oh, don't worry, you're just going out to get fresh air. I was like, oh, okay, great. One of the rules said that you can only shower once every 5 days. I can't remember what she said that got me to ask this question, but then I asked her, how many people am I going to be sharing a room with? She said 2. And I asked her, like, are they dangerous? Like, what do they do? Do you have us mixed in with people who have done like more serious crimes? I can't remember how I said this in Japanese. And they were very like kind. I wouldn't say kind, but like, you know, that high-pitched, happy Japanese voice that they put on. They were all like very kind and high-pitched and in that tone until I asked this question. She got so serious that I knew this is not a game. She was like, do not talk to anybody in here. Do not tell them your real name. Do not tell them where you live. Do not tell them why you are here or what you did. And I was just like, oh, it was the tone for me. I was like, oh, this is not a game. I'm just gonna be quiet. And then they had me stand there and they started doing like this body examination. They have to make a detailed report about all of the tattoos on your body. I was like, oh, I have 9. We're gonna be here for a while. We went from feet to head. I thought I had 9 tattoos. Actually, by the end of it, I realized I have 11. I'm gonna stick a pin in that conversation for now because it actually was relevant later on. There's a really good reason for them writing down what tattoos you have. I just thought that was like, oh, y'all just trying to link me to the Yakuza, but that was useful later on. She was going all the way up and I was trying to seem as innocent as possible. I'm like, look, it's just Gigi. Like, it's Ghibli, it's I love Japan. I'm not Yakuza. If you don't know, pretty much the only people here in Japan that have tattoos for the most part are the Yakuza. That's why they have such a bad rep in Japan, is just the history involving them, and the Yakuza is basically the Japanese. So that's why you can't have tattoos in the pool, in the onsens, in the gym, all that stuff, because they want to keep them out because they end up like taking over establishments and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, the noises they was making when they got to the cheeks, y'all, my cheeks are tatted. I'm not gonna show y'all all of them, but y'all, the cheeks is tatted. Okay, I got a lot. And the Yakuza tattoos are kind of, they're not that style, but they are massive. So I think she thought at the time, and I'm like, no, it's just flowers. It's just flowers. But yeah, we got through all of them. And then I thought we were done, but no, they also have to make a detailed report about every scar on your body. Y'all, I just got hit by a car. I am so accident prone. I have so many scars. But on top of that, I have so many stretch marks. And she kept stopping at every stretch mark like it was a scar and not understanding that it was a stretch mark until she finally got to my knees and just gave up. She was like, oh, okay. I don't think this is what we think it is. And I was like, thank goodness, because we're gonna be here forever. It looked like my mama was half tiger. Oh, after all that was done, they did a full body search. They even looked inside of my mouth. Then I'm just standing there on some crinkly newspaper. She was about to hand me some underwear to wear, and so I'm like squatting down to put them on. But then she grabs them and she's like, no. And I was like, okay, maybe she's gonna put them on for me, because you literally can't blink in that place without them being on high alert. They like treat you like you've just assassinated. They treat you like the biggest criminal. Like, you can't make any sudden movements at all. So I was just figuring like, okay, I just can't put on my own underwear. She's like standing next to me and I'm like squatting to put on the underwear, but she takes it and I'm just like, okay, maybe she's gonna put it on for me. And then she gestures like to do like this and I'm like, okay. So I squat down waiting for her to put the drawers on, and she doesn't, and she goes back up. So I go back up and I'm like, okay, I did something wrong. So then we go back down and then I go back up and then I go back down. I'm like, what are we doing wrong? They wanted me to do squats so that she could ensure that nothing fell out of my vagina. That's when I realized, yeah, you're not in Kansas anymore. It wasn't until like the fourth squat that I understood what was going on. Oh. So I had to do a few more squats, and she was really down there like looking to see if anything fell out of my y'all.
Is this some kind of sick joke?
This is crazy. No wonder I'm standing on tissue paper like a dog. I need. And thank goodness she didn't really look up in there, because it could have been a lot worse. Mind you, when y'all find out what I actually did or didn't do actually, this would make your blood boil. After that, next step was to purchase some items. They had this display of items that you could purchase. It was so confusing. I do not know why they worded it this way. They were like, would you like to buy these things that you might need? Because why would you word it like this? You absolutely need these things. So I don't know why they worded it that way. But yeah, it was just basic toiletries and stuff like that. There were underwears, socks, ladies' feminine products, soap, shampoo, a handkerchief, a really small towel. I'm not calling it a bath towel. Really small towel, lotion, chapstick, and I believe that's it. The most expensive thing was the feminine hygiene products. The underwear was like $6.58 if I'm not mistaken. For the clothes, you can rent them, and it is just a gray sweater, a gray t-shirt, and gray sweatpants. And you have to pay for the socks. It is gray socks. All gray. I bought everything besides the shampoo, and then later on realized I should have bought that too. I didn't know how long I was gonna be in there. Did I say soap? There was a bar of soap. So yeah, I ended up buying 3 pairs of underwear, 3 pairs of socks. I rented 2 sets of clothes. I bought 3 handkerchiefs. You can only buy 1 towel, lotion, chapstick. That was pretty much the check-in process. Like, okay, give me all of my stuff, and I'm expecting to walk out with the stuff I just bought and go to my room. Nope, I walked out with absolutely nothing. I got dressed. They gave me that handkerchief, and they took me to my cell. Y'all, this cell is not a joke. It's actually kind of crazy. When I envision a prison cell, I think like dark, damp, bunk beds, run down. You know, that's just the image I get when I think of jail. This was like a mental facility type of vibe. I called this room the cell cage because it wasn't a cell and it wasn't a cage. It was like a combination. A fly couldn't get in there. That's how like tight the grid was. Everything was white, and it had this insane bright fluorescent lights those tube lights on the ceiling shining down, and it was really giving one of them mental facility type of rooms. There's absolutely nothing in the room at all. There's a toilet and a sink. The toilet has like a little wall, but there's a huge window so that they can still see everything that you're doing. Even if you were to stand up and like put your pants on, they're gonna see everything. That's how like low the window was. And nothing. There's no bed, no seat, no cushion, no window, no windows. You don't know what time of day it is, nothing, no TV. It's just a white room. So I go in there and I sit on the floor with my little handkerchief. You're only allowed to have 2 things in that room, that handkerchief to dry your hands and a couple of pieces of loose tissue paper to wipe your butt. And that is it. And you cannot use either of those for any other purpose other than what they are intended to do. There are an insane amount of rules. I think they just made all these rules just to make you as uncomfortable as possible. But like you can't use anything for anything else. Like I tried to use the little handkerchief to wash my face and they're like, do not wet that. That's not what that's for. Got in trouble for that. I tried to use some of the tissue to roll up and put in my ears to go to sleep. They was like, do not do that. Got a lot of trouble for that one. It gets so much worse, y'all. The cell is like slightly elevated above the hallway that you come in on. There's like this little rectangular door at the bottom of the cell, and that's what they use to open to slide your food in or paperwork or whatever, but it's on the floor. You're pretty much just on the floor the entire time, kind of, just because the way that the room is situated. They had like 18,000 locks on the main door, and it is so noisy. It's like the heavy ka-chink chink type of door, and I'm just like, I know somebody's in here for jaywalking. This is extremely unnecessary. It was giving maximum security prison from start to finish. Like, there's no way anyone is breaking out of this place. It's just insane. But yeah, I ended up being in 3 rooms the entire time I was there. The first room that they took me to, this one was actually, in my opinion, I felt kind of large. I was like, oh, this is low-key kind of spacious, even though there's nothing in here. There are various ways that this place tortures you. One of them is with all of the rules. The next thing is with your room. That cell really messes with your head in a big way. Being in a bright white room with the lights on 24/7, by the way, they do not turn off those lights when it's time to go to sleep. They turn off like one of them in the hallway. Turning off the hallway one literally just makes the light in your room even brighter. And another way they torture you is with the food. So you're just being tortured in like every possible way. Let's talk about the food. This was the only time that I cried. Oh my God, this was such a terrible, awful experience. Like, I just can't even explain it to the capacity that I need. Like, I can't explain it the way that it really was, especially since I'm such a goofy person, but this was crazy. It was time for lunch. First, they squeezed this mat in through the little door at the bottom. In Japanese, I think it's called goza. In English, I don't know, but it's like a plastic foldable tatami mat. It's pretty big. No instructions at all. They just slide the mat in there, and I'm like, I guess we're about to do yoga, was my first thought. It comes in, and I just lay it on the floor and I sit on top of it, and then the guard comes back over and yells at me like, no, don't sit on it. Oh, okay. And then they slid the food in, and that's when I realized that this was like a eating situation so that you don't get the floor dirty. And I was like, oh, okay, that's why you don't want me to sit on it. Anyways, when they slid that first meal in, that was the only time that I cried. I could not hold it in. I was like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. Y'all, mind you, lunch is the same every single day. It was 3 pieces of white bread, boiled pasta noodles, no sauce, and they were cold, and a bowl of hot water on the floor. I cried. You can't be serious. I just went from organic vegetables that I grew myself and lean protein to boiled pasta noodles and white bread. Like, I'm not gonna survive in here. Yo. Also, every single meal comes with a fried croquette, and if you have been following my channel for a while, you'll know I already hated fried croquettes before this last situation, which was very similar. Basically, I flew into Japan and I tested positive for COVID at the time. It was like that crazy pandemic situation, and if you came to Japan with COVID, they locked you up in a government facility, which is basically just like a hotel, and they held you captive there for like up to, I don't know, 17 days. I was only there for like 11, I think, but they held you there. Even though I have a house, a private house by myself in a private car, they still made me quarantine there at this place. I had COVID and I was like sore throat, dying, coughing, and the only thing they gave you to eat was cold fried croquettes. Like, this thing scratching down my throat. Like, if I I didn't hate croquettes before, I absolutely hated them after that. And now here we are again, being held against our will, eating cold croquettes. And it was so much worse. They were tiny, and every single day they were filled with some mystery nonsense. It was almost never good. Thank goodness I was like in, I don't know, so much shock and stress that I had no appetite. I just was not hungry, and thank goodness, because what do you mean white bread, pasta, and some scratchy croquette and hot water? I think I took like 2 bites of the egg salad sandwich. I just was not in the mood for that, and I really don't like sandwiches. Little did I know, I definitely should have eaten that sandwich. If only I knew how much worse it was gonna get. I'm gonna have to eat this every day. I cried. Why? So again, this place is designed to stress you out and wear you down physically and mentally as much as possible. You just can't possibly function. You can't live there for very long. You have to crack. I'm gonna put a pin in that too. I'm gonna explain that in detail later on, because this is gonna make so much sense once you understand the whole Japanese justice system. After that, I think it was like the next day, I was transferred to a different room with my first roommate. She was an elderly woman that I saw in the hallway once, and she had really, really long hair, which is why I just like noticed her, and she was kind of staring at me, but it wasn't in like a malicious way. She was just looking. So yeah, I was like, oh, that happens to be my roommate. Okay. And boy, oh boy, that was interesting. The first time I saw Granny, I was just like, she's a little off, but I couldn't figure out like why. She was just so dazed. Like, I don't have the word for it, but she was not here. She wasn't on this planet. I saw a lot of people there, and so many of them had mental conditions, but her, I don't know what it was. This is just my feeling, but I could tell whatever she was going through was because she's been here too long. Also, the room was half the size of the first room that I was in, and I was like, is everything just gonna continue to get worse? Like, what are we doing? Get into the room, and she's just staring. She's staring into my soul, but she's also not even there. She's just checked out, Like at one point, the guard came by and he was like, why do you keep looking at her? Another guard came by and asked the same. They're like, they gave her a magazine because she would not stop looking at me. I just like turned over, was facing the wall, and like pretended like I was sleeping. I wasn't tired, but I was just staring at the wall, laying down and then finally she started talking, and I realized she can't speak any English, none at all. She kept trying to find something that we had in common, but we had like nothing in common somehow, which is pretty rare because I have something in common with everybody. Like, I like everything from the club to gardening. What do you mean we don't have anything in common? Finally, she found Michael Jackson, and she kept bringing up Michael Jackson over and over and over and over again. Yeah, you like Michael Jackson? I like Michael Jackson. And then an hour would go by, and she's like, hey, you remember Michael Jackson? I like Michael Jackson. And I'm just like, what? Then we finally shifted to finding a new mutual interest, Shohei Ohtani, the famous baseball player that everyone's obsessed with. He plays for like the Dodgers. And so that was her new thing, like, hey, Shohei. And I'm like, yeah. She was talking so low though that I absolutely could not hear her, because you're not allowed to talk there. So if you talk kind of loud, you'll get in trouble. And I'm like, dang girl, how long have you been here? You are traumatized. Every time we'd have roll call, the way she would just like perk up, I was like, dang, you've been here a minute. I don't know how long, but you've definitely been here. And Granny had to have been Yakuza, because why are you in there? But then again, they throwing folks in there for any reason, so you never know. I'd rather have been stuck with somebody who talks too much or didn't talk at all. I don't know why, but this was very painful because it was so awkward. She just kept talking about things, and she always asked questions. And I could understand the Japanese, but I don't really know the phrase for everything. Like, is your hair real? What type of hair is this? And she just kept touching my hair, asking me questions about it, and I don't have, like, how do I tell her that this is half extensions and I got locks? Like, I don't know that in Japanese. And then she started setting all the rules, and I'm like, you know what, you're older and I'm in Japan and I know how this system works, so I'm just gonna listen to you. You gonna run the show, that's fine. She was like, you're gonna clean the bathroom, I'm gonna clean the floors. And I'm like, okay, no problem. She was like, I can't clean the bathroom because it makes me sick. And I was like, facts. So I'm gonna do it. But before I could clean the bathroom, I got a meeting from the US Embassy. I'm gonna jump back to when I was arrested, and they took me to the police station before I went to the detention facility. When you're arrested, there is a form that you can fill out that every foreigner gets. It's basically like, if you want the embassy to be notified that you've been arrested, absolutely sign that. Well, actually, I don't know. If you're guilty, maybe Alan, you don't really want America knowing that you did something illegal abroad. But if you're not, or if you want your family to be able to know where you are, honestly, I would recommend signing this. Again, don't take legal advice from me, but there's a form that you'll get that you have the option to have the embassy notified that you have been detained, but also there's an option to have them come and visit you wherever you are being detained, and I filled that out. So I believe the embassy came to visit me the second day that I was there. It was actually quite quick because I was there the first day pretty late. Like, they did well. So yeah, shortly after I got transferred into the room with the granny, the embassy came and I went out there to go do a little short meeting with them. They are a lifesaver in a situation like this, especially if it's in another language, because they're gonna break down exactly where you are, what is going on, what to expect, and even what to expect if this escalates. So they told me about, you know, the entire procedure for the place that I was at. They told me the procedure for like the next step, which was jail and prison, and like it was very interesting because it was very different from America. It was like they can hit you, they can beat you, they have capital punishment, they have this, they have that. It's just really good to know these types of things. Also, another thing that they can do is notify your family in whatever country and let them know where you are. It was so funny because I was like, yes, I really just wanted to make sure that my family knew where I was, and she was like, oh, actually no, we were already in contact with your family. I was like, how? What are you talking about? Again, tears was coming in. I had to suck them back because this just was not the environment for this. She had on the cutest heart glasses. She was like, yeah, actually I've already been in contact with a Kristen Love. I believe that's your sister. Yeah, she sent in a missing persons report. She contacted the embassy, the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, the lifeguard. She sent people to your house. I like just zoned out while she was going over the list of all the things that my sister had already done. And that literally just lifted all the stress I had. I was so stressed, y'all. I was not doing well. Thank goodness I contacted them because that really helped me to get through. It's one thing to have people in your life who love you, but to have somebody in your life who loves you and don't play about you, somebody that don't play about you is a whole nother level of love. It's up here. It's completely different. My sister did not play about me. I don't play about her either. We constantly like track each other's locations at all times, and we always talk about if something crazy happens, what we would do type of thing. And when I got arrested, I had no time. They were at my door. The only thing I had time for was to text her my safe word. So I text her the safe word, and that was it. So I think that was enough for her to figure out something is wrong and I need to find her, which is just, I'm about to cry again. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, she was like, yeah, already got in contact with your sister. She knows everything. And another thing that was a hot mess was they confiscated my phones and my laptop and everything. And I could not get a hold of the lawyer that I had designated for this whole situation. I didn't know his name. I knew nothing. The only thing that I knew was his website color was brown. And that is the only information that I gave to my sister. And tell me why she found the exact lawyer in Japan all by herself with just that. That's kind of how our whole life is. But thank goodness she found him, because in Japan, it's very similar to America. If you do not have money, a lawyer will be appointed to you. If you have more, I think $500,000 in your bank account or like assets, you cannot get the free lawyer. You have to pay for a private lawyer, and they are very, very expensive. I went through the list of all the ones that are on the US Embassy, and I picked out specific ones that I felt would be good for my case, and almost all of them started at 2 million yen. 2 million yen to start, and then if they win the case, another 2 million yen. And not win the case, basically get the case dropped before it even goes to court. They call this thing a Judy lawyer. They basically come and the first meeting is free. They'll listen to your case, they'll listen to, you know, what's going on, and then they'll tell you what they can do, and you can decide if you want to hire them or not. I did meet with the free lawyer at first because I was so worried that I wasn't even gonna have a lawyer because I couldn't find my lawyer. He came and that man was so incompetent. I was just like, absolutely not. He was one of those like typical, like if you've ever been in Japan for a long time, you'll meet a lot of these Japanese men. They're like zero confidence. They talk with their eyes closed. It's like everything they say, everything they hear is a problem, and they literally just talk to you like this, like, 難しいね。ちょっと、わかりました。ごめんね. And then they're like talking with their eyes closed. So he's like speaking with me like this the whole time. It's completely in Japanese and he has to have a translator. And I'm just like, I'm already not comfortable with all of this. I need to be able to speak to my lawyer, especially if I'm dropping cash like this. Like I need him to be able to speak English. I can't be doing this third party thing with the translator. And then I think he forgot that I'm paying him or something. Cause I was like, so what can you do for me? Like hearing my situation, what do you have to offer? And he was like, I think we can get you like 3 years instead of 5. And I was like, what are you even talking about? Absolutely not, you gotta go. And then he tried to like weasel his way in and tell my family that I said that I wanted to hire him because my sister was gonna be paying for this because I can't do anything. And thank gosh, oh my goodness, thank the Lord my sister understands me. Like we don't have to communicate so deeply. So I was able to say something to him that I can't remember exactly how I worded it, but I worded it in a way to him that let my sister know that he was an absolute no and to find the other lawyer. And she did. I think like a few days later, here he was, and I was like, oh my God, my sister found you. How did she find you? I gave her almost no information. And I'm gonna be very transparent. The lawyer cost $2.4 million and another $2.4 million if he gets the case dropped before it goes to court. It's not cheap. But I highly recommend getting a good lawyer because honestly, I got a lot to say and I can't, but it is all really fishy to me. The lady that they sent for the embassy meeting, I mean, she was like pure perfection. I don't even know how to explain this. Like, I was trying to find her name because I want to like write a report or something because she needs a raise. She had the most professional, perfect aura. Like, she was kind, but she wasn't like too sweet. She was serious, but she wasn't cold. She wasn't giving me like false hope. She was just letting me know exactly how it was, but still being empathetic enough. She wasn't like, oh, this is terrible, that's so messed up, you'll probably be like, she wasn't feeding me any type of lies. It was like cold cut enough, but also kind enough. And it was just very helpful because the last thing you want in there is like false hope or false information, because it does just get, it's dark in there. And you don't want to be looking forward to something and then it's like terrible, because like your mental health is just on a string and anything can snap it at any time. So I just really appreciated her approach to like everything. Also, this woman changed my life. I'm not going to talk about this in this video, but she gave me something. She did something for me that was completely transformative. I cannot believe she single-handedly did this on her own. I'm going to mention this in another video. Another thing that the embassy can do, they come in there and they tell you exactly what they can and cannot do. They were like, listen, we can't get you out of here. This is a completely different country. They have different rules and regulations. There's nothing we can do here. Like, you're in trouble here. You have to abide by their rules. The only thing that we can do is make sure that they don't kill you and that your medical needs are met. And thank goodness I called them, because as a lot of you guys know, I have a very serious medical condition. It's actually, I think it's ranked in the top 13 of like the most serious medical conditions that you can have in Japan. So she was able to speak to the detention facility on my behalf, and thanks to her, I was transferred into a private room because of my condition. Like, she's like immune compromised. She cannot be around all of these sick people because everybody in there was sick. And I'm still, obviously, as you can see, I still caught something getting on my way out because there's just so many people and things, and like, it's not a very clean, it was a filthy environment. It was bright white and filthy. But yeah, thanks to them, she was able to negotiate to get me a private room by myself. And thank goodness, because y'all, the room with the granny, it was already crazy. And I was like, you want to add one more person and it's half the size of the room I just came from? No. So yeah, she spoke to them, and because of my medical condition, I was able to get my own room. But yeah, I definitely recommend contacting your embassy just so that you can contact your family and that you can know what's going on. And it was very reassuring, like just knowing that somebody knew I was in here. But yeah, that's like the whole start of everything. We are losing daylight. We're nowhere close to finished. I'm hoping I can wrap this up with a part 2, but we are like nowhere close to done. And I got arrested twice. So I will see you back here. I'm gonna try and wrap this up quickly so that it's not like every Sunday. Let's try and get this video out before the next Sunday. So just keep an eye out for the next one. And thanks so much for the support and love, guys. I really wanted to mention that. Everyone like reached out and was so worried. I was sick and then I was abducted. So it was a lot going on. But I really appreciate everyone looking out. Like, we are a family over here. My whole family was so touched. They were like, they are really worried about you. They're like, they just want to know what's going on, but no phone, can't talk, can't do anything. I literally had to wait until all of this was over. I barely got my phone back like a little while ago. So anyways, we're not done. We're nowhere close to done. I will see you guys back here soon. Stay tuned for part 2.